Hello, my name's Bethan and I'm an educator at the National Gallery. In today's video, we're going to be exploring how images can be used to tell a story. We'll be looking at the painting by Pinturicchio called Penelope with the Suitors and using this to inspire our own pattern designs onto fabric. Today's session is all about experimenting and creating our own tools. So find a space inside or outside and get ready to make and create. Materials you'll need include some paint, a paintbrush, a potato, leaves and flowers collected from outside, and some white cotton fabric. This could be an old t-shirt or even part of a bed sheet. Today I'm new printing onto fabric, but if you'd like to experiment printing onto paper, this would work just as well. The word pattern describes a repeated decorative design, meaning a collection of lines, shapes or colours on the surface of something. So when we start looking, we can find patterns almost anywhere. It could be on our clothes, it could be on objects in our home. We can even find patterns out in nature, on leaves, on flowers, even on animals. So next time you're out for a walk, see how many different types of patterns you can find. Before we start creating our own pattern designs, let's take a closer look at the painting, Penelope with the Suitors. Pinturicchio created the work in around 1509. The painting is actually a fresco, meaning it was painted directly onto a wall on top of layers of dry and wet plaster. This is one of 8 paintings used to decorate the walls of a palace in the Tuscan city of Siena. The painting tells the story of Penelope and her husband King Odysseus. What I love about the painting is the details and objects included in the scene that help us to read and understand the story. Penelope has been left behind while Odysseus is away fighting in the Trojan War. He has been gone for so long that everyone assumes he's been killed in battle. As the rumour starts to spread, a long line of suitors starts to arrive, each asking for a hand in marriage. To delay the proposals a little while longer, Penelope sits down at her loom and she starts to weave, promising the suitors that when she is finished, she will choose one of them to become her new husband and the king. Penelope spends all day every day weaving, but to the frustration of the suitors, she never comes any closer to finishing. This is because Penelope is crafty, and at night she sneaks downstairs and unpicks every thread she has woven that day. Eventually, all the men find out what she's been up to and demand that one of them is chosen to become the new king. Unhappily, Penelope agrees, but first she sets them an archery competition in which they must use her husband's bow and arrow. It's at this point in the story we see the return of the king. He's been gone for nearly 20 years, 10 of which he has spent at sea, battling against terrible storms and strange sea creatures. So much time has passed that no one recognises him, not even his wife Penelope. This means he's able to sneak into the competition, and of course no one is able to use his bow as well as him, so he wins. On presenting himself to his wife Penelope, she finally recognises him and they are reunited. All these different details in the story can be found in the painting, like the loom and Penelope weaving, the bow and arrows, the mythical sea creatures and Odysseus on his boat. What I love in the painting is how we can see 2 parts of the story happening at once by the way the artist has included a window looking out to sea. When we're creating our own pattern designs, can you think of a story you might like to tell? The first technique we're going to try out is a form of block print making, using something I'm sure you've all seen before, a potato. Like a stamp, we'll cut and carve our potato into different shapes to print with. This can be done carefully using a knife, or even a paper clip can be used to carve in the finer details. Once you've created your stamp, blot off any excess water and print onto your fabric or your paper. When creating a story in your pattern, think about how different images and shapes could fit together. I've taken inspiration from the time that Odysseus spent at sea and the long distance that he travelled. When looking at the painting, we can see a bird sitting on the window ledge. This could represent Odysseus and his long journey. Also, my favourite, at the bottom of the painting, we can see a cat playing with a ball of yarn. This could represent Penelope and the way she fooled the suitors by unravelling her weaving. Another technique you can try at home is creating a sun print. Create a mixture of 1 part water and 1 part paint. Then, using this mixture, paint a wash onto the surface of your fabric. Using any leaves or flowers you've collected, then arrange a design onto the surface of your fabric. Make sure to push down nice and firmly onto the surface, and you can then leave outside to dry in direct sunlight. Once your fabric has dried completely, remove your leaves and flowers to reveal your final design. A nice idea with these two printing processes is combining them together. Why not add some potato prints on top of your sun prints and see what effects they create? We would love to see what you've made, so share your pattern designs with us by tagging us on Facebook, Instagram or Twitter.